Hey crew, it's Fit, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today we got a brand new hot drop from Buddy Brown. This is not music, I don't think. This is one of the talks, but that's okay because we cover them too. Buddy is constantly bringing wisdom, and we need wisdom in this day and age. So I'm going to do my best to amplify his voice. Let's dig in and see what he has to say about the government giving farmers the middle finger, because that is absolutely happening. Like, I try not to be too doom and gloom, even though I do talk about the end times an awful lot. But it would be a very, very good time to make sure that you had some extra flour laid up and other products along those lines that use fertilizers. Uh, anything, anything you get now is not gonna go down in price. All right, let's see what's up.
Here's the deal. This is not a fear video or anything anywhere close to that. I just want y'all to be prepared. And it goes like this. 80% of Americans right now live in urban areas. 80%. Most of them are going to be shocked all to hell by this conversation. On the flip side, I'd be willing to bet that about 80% of the folks that watch this particular channel live in rural areas. I could be wrong, but that's kind of my guess. With that said, I think that winter is officially starting, but it's warming up.
Is that winter of death and destruction, right? We're coming up into the midterms. That's what's about to kick off. And there have to be certain stressors in place, and there have to be certain relief valves in place for this midterm election to go. They're going to try and steal this thing. They are. It is going to happen. What we have to do is make sure that we turn out in sufficient numbers where we can say there's no way, right? We need to make sure that we should have been making sure that there's fraud is not able to be done the way it may or may not have been done previously in like the last big election cycle. So, yeah.
Outside, buddy, what are you talking about? Not that winter. I'm not talking about that winter at all. Look, I got a good friend out in Oregon. I got a call from 2 nights ago, Dan Tanner. He owns Tannerite, the explosive targets that we love to shoot. He was telling me he's also a farmer. Now, they're not too different than we are here in Mississippi. We're an agricultural state. And he said, buddy, we got a real problem with fertilizer. I said, what's the problem? He said,
they just banned that shit.
We have fertilizer now double, triple, and sometimes quadruple in price, depending on what fertilizer you're looking for. Quadruple in price.
It's really convenient that in order to shift things around and move things around and make sure, they're going to need to make sure that everybody gets fed, right? And in order to make sure everybody gets fed and that they get safe, they're going to concentrate you into camps in high population centers. And you're going to have to be inoculated in order for that to happen, so that everybody's safe and accounted for.
What it should be. What's going to happen with that, you say? Well, if farmers don't fertilize, they could have half the yield because they don't have the money to fertilize.
Because Revelation 6, the price of wheat, a denarius, or 1 measure of wheat for a denarius and 3 measures of barley for a denarius. I think that's the quote.
First place, which means half the availability. Now,
third seal.
That would hit us hard already if prices were pretty much normal, but we're already feeling like we're in round 7 in the ring with Mike Tyson with food and gas prices. This could be the TKO that knocks us out this fall. And I'm talking about something like 4 to 9 months from now.
Plant all that you can. Put as much in the ground as you can possibly manage. I know that people are living in small areas. I know I've got people that live in the cities and they don't have any yard. Get a pot and put it on the balcony. Plant on the roof if you've got access. You want to have as much food available to you as possible over this next year.
Now look, one thing's for sure. Hungry people are dangerous people. All right? But there's one thing even more dangerous than hungry people. It's hungry people that ain't used to being hungry. Because when you add panic and you mix it up in the blender and you stir it all around, what you get is revolt. Now, with the state of mental health that our society's already in right now after a 2-year lockdown. We've got a hair trigger on our sanity. We're a bonfire waiting for the torch. And you're hearing in the news right now, inflation's up 10%. I don't know where they're getting that number at all.
Yeah, 10% is a way ridiculously low number.
They must think we're absolutely stupid. My grocery cost alone is up 30% just from last year. Hell, beef is up 40%.
Yep.
See, this is what happens when you embrace
Chicken. Chicken is ridiculous, right? I went to go buy a whole chicken because I cook a lot. And I use a whole chicken and I cook it down. And I got this whole chicken and I picked it up. And now, granted, a year ago, this is $2, $3, $4 for a big ass chicken. But the smallest chicken they had was $11. That was just this week.
liberal globalism. 30% of our farmland corn right now is being used for ethanol that nobody wants to put in their gas tank anyway.
True.
This is stupid. We gotta stop using corn for fuel. It ain't an efficient use for corn or the farmland that we grow it on. We need to pump U.S. oil right here, right now, and use the farmland for food and use it for feed.
Here's the problem. We have gone into a monoculture agricultural system. That is a problem. Yes, it allows us to create vast quantities in areas that probably would not be manageable, but it's only not manageable on that scope and scale. You can do soil remediations and multi-crop harvestings in rotations in ways that the soil is nourished and that you're growing fresh plants without relying on phosphates from the Ukraine and from Russia. Like that is a possibility, but we have to adjust our lifestyle, right? I already have a very lean lifestyle. I live a lot leaner than most people could manage, and that is not a self-brag. It is just how it is. Some of y'all are out there like y'all can't live without your Doritos and you can't live without your corn cheesy poofs or whatever. Like all of that stuff's made with GMO products, so I don't eat it, right? That's not to say I never eat Doritos, but like I stay off of that because that monoculture that's relying on this fertilizer is bad. It really is. We're not meant to have 400 acres of wheat and kill every bug in the ground so that we can do that. That is dumb. That is a bad practice. We're not meant to genetically modify the plants to resist the pesticides so that it kills everything else that it touches, except for the one thing that we're going to be eating, the offspring of. That's kind of dumb. That was dumb to start, but it's getting more and more dumb every day. We need to get away from that. You need to grow your own food as much as possible, buy locally as much as possible, and for God's sake, get out of the cities. It is bad. It is going to get worse.
And we also got to stop regulating what farmers can and cannot grow. If the feds don't release these restrictions soon, that we're done.
And that's another big problem, too. We pay farmers not to grow stuff. We could produce enough food to feed the planet. We could. Our biggest problem is the distribution and the fact that if we did it, Ethiopia can't pay California's corn prices. And that's what it boils down to, is the fact that they can't make as much money if we grow the corn here and ship it to Africa.
And one more.
I'm not opposed to streamlining the distribution systems or even rehabilitating some of these countries into agricultural sustainability. Like these third world countries, teach them how to do sustainable farming instead of the stupid shit that we got.
More piece of genius that you'll never hear up in D.C. If exporting causes a local shortage, then don't export. Rocket science, right? If only there was a warning. If only there was a manual that could have told.
They're artificially inflating these prices. Like they're intentionally doing this. This is not an accident. This is not the result of something that they did not plan to do. Putin is part of the World Economic Forum. It may not be part of the UN or NATO, but he's part of the World Economic Forum. He graduated from the Klaus Schwab School. He runs with them people. He's part of that club. This is all a stage. The kufi was falling apart. People were getting tired of the coffee. And so they needed a new distraction. There were truckers rolling out across the world. This was picking up globally. And then a little blue and yellow flag flooded your timelines and completely distracted you from the fact that everybody was tired of coffee and that truckers were loading up and rolling out and that people were starting to rise up and resist. That's done now. We don't hear about none of that now. There's still restrictions in places. There are still people under tyranny behind the coffee. But where are we at, right? It's not affecting me right now, so I'm going to ignore it. Meanwhile, some of these more authoritative countries, they haven't slacked up. They're still rolling out their passports, people. They're still rolling out the security systems. They're setting up the digital currency. They're destroying the world market for food. They just killed almost all fertilizer production. Like something like 70% of fertilizers of the phosphates come from Russia. And we just said, oh well, no, we're not gonna buy anything Russian. Well, where are them phosphates gonna come from? Do you think they're gonna be able to plant this round of soybeans or corn or sugar cane or peanuts or whatever they're trying to monoculture on this dead ass ground that they have killed for 40 years, that has no nutrients left in it? You have to supply them. We got a problem coming, y'all. The revelation, the fourth or the third seal is famine. And the price of wheat goes up, but you know what? Oil and wine are going to remain the same. It's awful funny that the oil prices just leveled off, right? But the price of wheat is going up, right? The price of barley is going up, right? All right.
Told us that all this stuff was coming, right? Mark 13:5. Jesus said to them, watch out that nobody deceives you. Many will come in my name claiming I am he, and he will deceive many. You're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. Do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still yet to come. Nation will rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places and famines. These are the beginnings of the birth pains. My grandparents lived through the Depression and World War II. They were tough as nails. They grew their own gardens. They wasted nothing. They depended on their own communities, not the government.
I got potato slips growing. I got seeds germinating. Like, I'm planting all kinds of stuff on my little quarter acre this year, y'all. I'm maximizing everything I can.
And if you're a subscriber, I'm guessing that you're the toughest stock that we've got, because we all think alike. Hard times, I think, come easier when you're expecting it. I'm really, really saddened that the fact that most Americans choose to be weak and they don't live and think like we do. But I do believe that we have heavenly armies that are assigned for our future purposes. So with that said, let's make them proud.
We're going to let it play on out because you know how we do. Once again, Buddy Brown has brought a very serious topic to the front. We needed to talk about this. We need to discuss this stuff because this is real life. This is really happening. People like to shove shit under the rug and go watch an American Song Contest. As great as it is, I love to see Ryan Charles out there doing his thing. As great as that is, as much fun as that is, don't let that distract you from the shit that's going on. There's a lot of shit going on, y'all. Like, it is wild out here. And the stuff that we need to be paying attention to, that he just brought your attention to, is flying under the radar. I've been talking about the fertilizer. I don't know that I've been talking about it enough, though. I might have to up that game a little bit, because this is a real deal. This is something happening. They are intentionally restricting our food supply. There was another report yesterday. Oh, I saw it when I was watching the Alex Jones show, right? Alex Jones is really good for finding the fucking things. He's really good for finding the things. He might overreact about them. And he might fixate on body parts a little bit too much the last couple of days. But for real, he's really good at finding things that turn out to be really true. And this is part of it. Like, he has shown it. He was talking about this. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I'm going to quit ranting. Buddy Brown, thank you for this. I appreciate it. It's getting wild out there. And I appreciate everybody that brings attention to this kind of stuff. I love getting to show Buddy Brown stuff because whether it's music or conversation, even if I don't agree with him on everything, we tend to agree on most things. And we both see what is going on in this country. We both see that something needs to happen. And we're both trying to change the culture a little bit. I'm glad I get to amplify his voice. Buddy Brown, thank you for this. This was great music. This was a great discussion, not music. And it was greatly appreciated. To the crew, y'all make sure y'all check out Odyssey, Rumble, and BitChute because not everything I do can make it over here on YouTube. Some of the stuff is just a little bit too controversial. And so I put it over there. Or I think that it might be controversial in the near future. So I put it over there. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me. I am praying for you every single day. Till next time. This has been Pitt State. Peace.